Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we will talk a lot about the Chung match, some takeaways, things we learned from last night. Federer Chung, very talked about match, so we're going to spend most of the day. Mr. Goat is so angry about his contract dispute. He wants to renegotiate his contract with the show. He just knocked over our very expensive hard drive, our external hard drive, with all of the CBT database on it. Thanks, Mr. Goat. Real mature. Today on Coffee Break Tennis, we will talk a lot about Federer Chung. I was saying his name wrong, I suppose, so I'm going to try this new way out. Comment below if I'm doing it right now. Federer Chung. So we're going to talk a lot about the Chung-Federer match from last night. Of course, we will talk about Borna Coric, who is next up. We call him the present because that's what Federer is thinking about right now. That's what Coric is thinking about right now. We will also talk about Coric Del Potro, because that's who so many people think he's in the finals. I'll tell you why. I'm not entirely convinced it will be him in the finals. Of course, we hope for that. Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis. Let's get into it. Before we start the show today, let me just remind you that we are brought to you by Crunch Time Coaching, a tennis player's best friend, a tennis player's ultimate resource. Head over to the YouTube channel Crunch Time Coaching, founded by the tennis genius Peter Freeman. I am also there. You can learn tennis with me and Pete. Go over there right now. Start working on your tennis game today. Also, real quick, we'd like to remind you that if you like the channel, if you like tennis, if you like Coffee Break Tennis, if you like Mr. Goat, if you like me, you might as well hit the subscribe button down below. In fact, don't just hit it. Smash it! And if you're not ready for that kind of commitment, you can always touch like. Just a little touch on the like button. Mr. Goat's going crazy. He loves chasing tennis balls. It's his favorite. So last night, best shot of the year for Roger Federer. Best backhand of the year, I would say. One of them. Comment below if you can remember one that's better than this. Play the clip.
Oh, that's just phenomenal.
Oof. Wow. We like that. So there was a lot of talk last night about Chung's future. First off, he put up a great fight. By the way, Mr. Goat said I should toot my own horn. I didn't want to, but I will. I predicted a 7-5, 6-2 last night. I wrote it in the comment section on the last video below to somebody. I wrote it back to somebody. Tough first set, easy second set. That's how it always goes for Roger, it seems like, with these kind of matches. But this was a special match because a lot of people, and you know some crazy Joker fans out there. Oh, there he goes. Get in that cat, tough it. So it was a very good match last night, and I know the score, 7-5, 6-2, that looks like it wasn't much of a challenge, but it really was. And some Joker fans out there, I just had this feeling that if Federer somehow lost that match, they would say, this is proof that if Djokovic was at 100%, none of this Federer stuff would be even happening. Djokovic would just beat him everywhere. And I don't think so. I think if Federer would have somehow lost to Chung, it wouldn't necessarily prove that, but it would give him a jumping off point to make that case. But the opposite happened. Federer kind of easily handled him. Well, if you watch the match, it didn't seem easy. It was a little scary at times. So let's just show you some clips if you didn't see the match, or even if you did see the match, just to kind of think about the match in a different way. Sound good, Mr. Goat? Clip number 1. This is a nervous forehand at 5-all in the first set. This was some people ask me, Matt, how do you stay so confident during these Federer matches? Because I'm on Twitter saying, Federer's going to win or whatever. I kept saying 7-5, 6-2, 7-5, 6-2 as early as the first set. So people say, Matt, how do you stay so confident watching these Fed matches when it gets so nervy? And I got to play this point and tell you, this one point was a nervous moment for me where I wondered, what if Roger turns into Shankerer, as we'd seen in some years past, and kind of just gives away a break because he looks a little nervous, which is kind of what he did against Djokovic in those big matches, 2014, 2015. It seemed to me that Federer actually just got really nervous. So what's so interesting to me about that one point, that clip, is that Federer is having his backhand attacked by Chung, but the Federer backhand is working well. Like, he's taking the ball early enough, hitting it heavy enough to literally push Chung back. And then we see Federer kind of It almost seemed a little panicky to me because this is something we've seen Federer do in the past. He gets a little nervous and says, all right, let me just crush a forehand as fast as I can and try to hit a winner and just finish it right now. Get rid of that scary feeling that I'm feeling inside. That's what I think. I don't know if that's exactly what went through his head, but I don't want to show you a million clips, so I'll just tell you what happened. Yeah, that was a really nervy miss, but then Roger quickly makes up for it, plays a strong game, holds serve, ends up breaking Chung at 6-5 to win it 7-5. Then we go to the beginning of the second set. Here's Roger serving again. Clip number 2. So when you win a close first set, because that first set was a little scary, at 5-all, Roger loses that first point. When it's 5-all and you're serving and okay, you got to hold. Because if you don't hold, there's a good chance you're going to lose the set. And even if you do hold, you might still lose it, but you got to hold. And then you lose the very first point. That's hard to play brave. And Roger did, and he wins it. Then you get on to the second set, and it's like, okay, I did that. And most people's natural, you could compare it to anything. Think about anything. You work really hard on something, and then you think, okay, that was intense. Now I want to kick back and watch TV for a while, or I don't know, whatever people want to do to kind of relax. Well, in a tennis match, obviously you're not going to watch TV. What you're going to do is, okay, I really put myself on the line. I really went for my shots. I really played fearlessly. Now let me play tentative for 15, 20 minutes and try to just hope that I can just play okay, and this guy will give me the second set and the match will be over. That's what a lot of people do, unfortunately. Clip 3 is, all these nervous points and bad decisions from Roger where he gets a little panicky and tries to hit a big forehand and misses. They all start to add up, and this break point is there for Chung, and he does not take advantage of it. He plays great. This shows you how great he was playing. And most of the time he played great, and Federer just played a little greater and managed to find a way to win. But this is a point where Chung really gifted Roger an opportunity. So what happens after that? Roger gets deuce. You think he's going to make it happen. He'll hit an ace usually. Well, he doesn't. Doesn't hit an ace. What happens is another forehand unforced error. It's kind of weird. It was a theme in this match. I tweeted it last night. I was saying it's really strange to me how Roger is missing so many forehands on really crucial points. By the way, Brad Gilbert, it's Jawohl. Jawohl. Watch any World War II movie. You'll hear it a bunch. It's kind of a weird forehand that Federer is attempting there. He did that a lot last night. He missed a few of those. Exact angle. It's like, it's not cross court, but it's not inside in. If you don't know what that means, inside in is like, let's say I get all the way on the left side where I would hit this is the line. It's out if it goes this way left, and there's a backhand up the line. So what Federer likes to do is a little inside in where you get all the way over there where your backhand line is, and you get around it and you put it right up the line inside in. Well, Federer was kind of a little over trying to hit a cross-court angle there, so kind of a weird shot. So these clips tell me, though, that Federer saw Chung playing really well, and it kind of made him a little nervous. So here's the last one, last clip of the day. This is a second serve kick that is so insane. It looks like John Isner's kick serve. I mean, it just gets up so high. Even Patrick McEnroe says,
What a kick with that second. Yeah. Watch the kick on this and how it gets out of the strike zone. Unbelievable serve.
man, there's so much action on that serve. And this is kind of a response from Federer after all these errors and all these opportunities for Chung. I think Federer kind of realized, like, okay, the timing on the forehand is not there right now, but the serve is working well, so let's just bust a big second serve. So there you go. Federer goes on from there to hold that game, and of course the rest is history. He wins the second set 6-1. Very solid win for Federer. Chris Fowler and Patrick McEnroe were talking a lot about the future of Chung. Brad Gilbert was in on the broadcast too. And one of the interesting things, and we'll move on after this, is my last point for today. Mr. Goat is already getting sleepy and bored hearing about Chung. So Chung, Brad Gilbert said he's going to win majors. And Patrick McEnroe said, look, let's not get crazy. Let's not get too crunk on Hyun Chung right now, saying he's going to win majors because, Alexander Sasha Zverev, he did more last year, and look what's happening to him this year. There's not even close to a major. So let's not go too crazy on him yet. And I think that was smart. I enjoyed hearing that from Patrick McEnroe, and I caution everyone. But then Chris Fowler said the funniest thing. He said, well, hey, if it's not Sasha Zverev, and if it's not this guy, someone's got to win these majors. Who the heck is it going to be? Because all the big four, they're going to retire. So check out this tweet from tennis.com. By the way, you can follow me on the tweeters at coffeebreak10s, TENS, like the number 10. Here's tennis.com. Roger Federer has equaled the best start to a season in his career, 16-0 with the victory over Chung. He'll face another 21-year-old Borna Coric in the semifinals. So we'll talk very briefly about Borna Coric. I know some of you have read some comments saying, hey, he's playing great, talk about him. Roger said it best in the encore interview after he beat Chung. He basically said, yeah, I've played Borna before and did very well. Hopefully there'll be some more of that. And he kind of pointed out, like, he's got great movement, and then he didn't really say anything else. Because that's basically the story of Coric. Coric has a really nice backhand. He's a player who's developing still. He's 21 like Chung. So, it's cool because these guys maybe could win majors. Coric, Chung, these are, because as Chris Fowler pointed out, someone's got to win these freaking things. They happen every year. Every year there's 4 chances to win a major. Someone's got to do it. So Coric is one of these guys. He's developing, just like Chung. Chung's serve needs a lot of work. Coric's serve can be improved. Coric's forehand needs to improve. Coric has a lot of speed. Coric has a great backhand. He's a good mover, good tennis IQ. He's got a lot of stuff going on for him. The funny thing from the broadcast last night, and right, you heard it in Federer's on-court interview. He's not really worried. It was kind of, they always say you have to pay respect to every opponent. That's how you keep winning. That's what the players always say, basically. But he didn't disrespect him. But Federer kind of put it out there that I'm not too worried about Coric. And why would he? If he plays the way he can, shouldn't be an issue at all. Coric is a fun player, but as Chris Fowler and Matt, I can't remember who said it exactly, but one of the last things they said in the broadcast before they signed off last night was, hey, this Coric guy, this is the guy who said in the past to the media that I'm really a combination between Murray and Djokovic. That's my game. He's 21 years old, so it's fun. It's great. I'm glad to hear that from Coric because it shows a lot of belief, confidence, excitement, love for the game. It's a good thing, but it's a funny thing. So he's got to get some big wins to prove himself. He's going to say stuff like that. All right, so now let's talk Del Potro. This is going to be brief. We go to the Twitters. Christoph Maldi at C Maldi, Maldy. He said, at Coffee Break Tense, let's pray for a Kohlschreiber Query semifinal. Del Potro being one of the rare players that can beat at Roger Federer in those times, and Raonic with his big serve, always a question mark. And of course, Christophe is from that funny city in France that I always love to say, Montpellier. Thanks for the tweet, Christophe, but I gotta tell you, I'm sorry, but Raonic does not scare me. Roger would love, trust me, he remembers that embarrassing loss at Wimbledon where he falls on his face. I remember it. I've been kind of anti-Raonic since that moment. Gosh, I shouldn't admit that, Mr. Goat. Anyways, Roger would crush him, so don't worry about that. Del Potro, yeah, he's a scary player, but here's all I want to say about Del Potro. I think I said it last video or the video before, but I'll say it again because, yes, he's great. Yes, he can beat anyone, but he's like constantly getting injured again. But I did hear Robbie Koenig, the South African commentator for, Tennis TV, the online is where he's at. He's great, I usually hear him in clips, though, because I don't have the Tennis TV. I would like to have it. Robbie Koenig, he said the most fascinating thing to me, and it's very true, and I don't know why I didn't think about this, because it's pretty obvious. You know how Federer, he didn't say this exactly. Let me tell you my version of it. Federer has had his backhand targeted, attacked for so many years, it's turned into quite a great shot. When it was a weakness, now it's a strength. Out of necessity, out of people constantly hitting to it, you get a lot of practice on that side. Well, Del Potro, since he came back, he's had all these surgeries on his left wrist. And the way, if you don't know on the technique side, the way these pros hit their two-handed backhands, it's basically a left-handed forehand grip with the right hand along for the ride to help a little bit. You're generating power. Well, you're generating power from your hips and your legs and your core, but the left hand is doing more work than the right hand, bottom line. So when Del Po's left hand is not right, that's why Del Potro hasn't been able to hit that big flat two-hander like he did in the 2009 U.S. Open final when he beat Federer, But it's getting better. He's been getting stronger on that left hand. He's been getting better with that. But the one thing that Robbie Koenig pointed out was that his slice is getting a lot better, and now he's starting to have this variety. Sound kind of familiar, right? Sound kind of like what Federer does on his backhand side. The new version of Del Potro that we have now, he's evolved through these last few years of people really targeting his backhand because they know, okay, the forehand and the serve are still like huge weapons, but he doesn't have that backhand like he used to, so let's just hit it there. Del Potro had to hit so many backhands, and so often he was worried about getting injured again, about re-injuring that left wrist, that he's decided to slice his backhand most of the time. I even remember years ago people saying like, it's so sad that Del Potro can only slice his backhand now and it's not strong enough to hit through it anymore. Well, now he's healthier and stronger on that left wrist, and he is hitting through it more, but he's also got this wicked slice he's developed from the last few years from having to deal with all that. So that's what we'll say about Del Potro. You never know when this big guy is going to be too worn out to compete or injured again. And it's not like big injuries, it's just like, oh, my knees and my hips hurt because I'm giant 6 foot, what is he, 6'6"? I'm this giant, heavy, tall guy, and I'm running around on a hard court all the time for hours and hours. So we'll see if he gets there. But he does have more going for him in his game. He is a guy that a lot of people say could win a major this year. Well, that's all we have for you today, folks. Hit the music. We'll be back tomorrow after Federer plays. We'll make a video right away. As the music rolls, let me just read a couple things to you guys and gals out there. Actor Bosky is back. If Fed has guts, let him play entire clay season. If he gets injured from here on, then that's it. Retirement on the card. Bosky is so mad because now I am the second most recognizable male in all of India. And it used to be Bosky, but now actor Bosky is the 5th most recognizable male in all of India. This was so fascinating to me. Here's a guy at TopSladd, at TOPSLADD. He says, at Coffee Break Tennis, sometimes I have a feeling, and this is after I said, amazing to me how many important points Rogers missed a forehand on, because it's true. This guy says, sometimes I have a feeling that Federer is just toying with the millions of us Fed heads' emotions, intentionally missing easy points and making simple matches a long, drawn-out affair he doesn't want to get us bored. So I just want to explain to everyone, because I have this unique perspective of playing lots of tennis and watching lots of tennis, and I just have to tell you, when you play an official match where the score is recorded, even if money's not on the line, I'm talking about like recreational league tennis, because it's very big where I live. A lot of people, they compete hard for these city championship trophies. It's scary for everyone at every level to go out there and play freely and go for your shots. And Federer is constantly, like everyone else, he might be better than everyone at it, but he's still doing it, juggling, being fearless, and being careful. That's it. Maybe I'll do a video diving deeper into that another time. Thanks for watching Coffee Break Tennis. We'll see you tomorrow after Roger Federer's match is completed. See ya.